Welcome, everyone, to the Spend Life Well show, where we talk about all things faith and finance, helping you align your wealth with your values. I'm your host, Certified Kingdom Advisor Mark Trice with Clear Vista Financial, and today we're going to tackle a question I've been hearing more and more about. And the question is, when people ask me, Mark, I've got a budgeting app, or I've got an AI app. Do you really need a financial advisor? Well, folks, the spoiler alert for you today is yes. AI and different apps can be very helpful, but they are really just the beginning to a well-balanced financial plan. So we're going to talk about that, talk about how each thing can help you stay on track financially. But we'll go ahead and jump in. And, you know, a lot of apps are popular these days. I'm not going to get into a lot of them. I know as a sponsor of the Faith and Finance radio show, we do like their app, but there are a number of different apps to help you with a number of different things. It just depends on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So apps can help you track your spending and see where your money is going to. And this is real important because a lot of times we'll be visiting with prospective clients and we ask them what they're spending in their budget and they don't really know. And it's kind of funny because they'll look up and to the right and they're accessing the creative part of their brain. It's really strange to watch. And they're trying to process all the things they might spend in a month. It's important to track where your money's going. Write down every dollar that you spend. Apps can help you do that. Whatever the apps might be, they can help you do that. Apps can also help you with setting savings goals. That's real important. And one of the things that I think is helpful, because if you have a spending plan and you've got everything categorized, that can really help you determine where the majority of your money goes and to where, okay? That is something that's so important because you need to know where every dollar is going. It can even alert you when you're going over your budget, right? So when my wife and I were first married, we used an envelope system. Now, this is not the Dave Ramsey envelope system. We were borrowing it from Larry Burkett, and one of the early Christian financial advisors and his counseling to churches and church members. But it can help you know when you're out. Now, the envelope system that we used when we were first married, because we were dirt poor, we had student loan debt, among other things, it was all cash. And so when the dining out envelope was empty, we couldn't go out anymore to eat that particular month. Or when the grocery envelope was empty, we couldn't buy any more groceries. So it's very... It makes things real quick sometimes when you're living on a limited budget. So let's talk about, just to be clear, apps do not equate to an advisor, all right? Now, you might be thinking, I've got a budgeting app, Mark, and I don't need a financial advisor. Well, I'd say you're wrong, and let me tell you why. Apps can't talk to you when the market drops. They don't know if your adult child is moving back into the house. They don't remind you of why you may have wanted to give generously in the first place. Advisors can help you stay on track. Apps can help you do some basic things around finance. But the big thing that advisors do is to help you manage your behaviors. And that's a big deal. Apps are tools. They're not a teammate like an advisor might be. A budgeting app might show you the math of how you're doing things. A financial advisor helps you discover the meaning behind those things. A financial advisor also helps you align your financial plan with your values, not just the math. A lot of budgeting apps don't even talk about giving. And this is a big important aspect of aligning your values with your wealth. Aligning your wealth with your values is putting a priority on giving back. And a lot of times apps don't do that. A financial advisor can help you bring accountability to the situation. The app's just going to tell you when you didn't fulfill it. When you have to be accountable to someone, sometimes it makes us give us that nudge that we need to keep pushing forward. Advisors also help you integrate in a broader planning context, like retirement, taxes, your legacy of what you like to leave behind. And the big thing I like is advisors can help you really navigate the what ifs. Okay, throw you those curveballs. A lot of apps can't do that. Budgeting apps, they can help you tell you what's happening, and a good advisor helps you ask why it matters. So this is something that's real important. I've always used advisors in various capacities. We always recommend that you use advisors for various things. There's a great scripture, and I'm drawing a blank right now as we do this, but it talks about seeking the counsel of many advisors, that the wise do that often. Let's talk just a second about how to use these budgeting apps really, or tools, well. If you're going to use an app of any type for finance, you want to make it work for you, not against you. Don't just set it and forget it. This is something that you have to stay on track. It's a check-in tool. You have to set up a regular time at which you enter data, or you verify the data, or you maybe classify the data if it's linked to, say, a checking account or something. Think of it as like your dashboard on the car. You don't live in it, but it helps you stay on course. In other words, we need to go so many miles this way, or I'm looking at my maps on my dashboard. So think of it as a tool to help you get to where you want to go. You need to make sure, as I said, to check in regularly. We need to do what we call reconcile. Now, for us old timers, we know what reconcile means. We were taught this in our civics class in high school. We learned to balance our checkbook, and we don't really do that anymore, but it's something that you need to do. You need to reconcile your charges and your spending against what you thought you did. You need to do that every week. I usually pick a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday evening to do that myself so that I can stay on top of, and I don't have any surprise bills that creep in that I forgot about. You want to customize those categories in the budgeting app to base them on your lifestyle. Maybe you've got grandkids and you love to go buy them clothes and things. Well, you need a category for that. So it doesn't get kind of slipped into clothing for you. We have to acknowledge that, in fact, we are spending money on the grandkids, and that's our God-given right to spoil our grandchildren, but let's keep track of it, okay? You want to use alerts when you can, but don't set them so often that you are just anxious about everything. I know when we were using a particular bank app, we had it set to alert so that if anyone spent more than $50, then an alert would come to our phones. And that just kind of makes us feel anxious and stuff. And it wasn't that imperative. The main thing we were trying to use it for is to make sure that no one was committing any fraud. But you want to make sure that you're something that's aligned with you. If getting a lot of text alerts stresses you out, don't do it as frequently. Make sure you're sticking with well-known platforms and apps with bank-level encryption. This is so important. You want to make sure you're using two-factor authentication and things. And because security is a valid concern, but especially with AI platforms like ChatGPT. They have default settings that store your data and use questions you ask to train their models. And I recommend disabling some of these things. We use ChatGPT in the office, but it is an enterprise version, meaning it's enclosed and encapsulated for us. It doesn't go out. The regular ChatGPT is taking all your questions, all your data, and sharing them for other AI models and other questions that other people may have. So it's very much a learning process, but it's not very safe and secure unless you take some steps to disable some of those things. AI that's built into so many of these apps is now suggesting budget tweaks or predicting when you'll overspend, but it's based on your past behavior, not your future goals. It doesn't understand emotional spending or generosity. And I'm not talking about coping by shopping. I'm just talking about what money means to you and planning for generosity. Artificial intelligence does not know your heart. And as a believer, our values are important. And we shouldn't rely on artificial intelligence to tell us what to do in those situations. So, should you use a budgeting app? Absolutely. As a tool, not a replacement for advice. The best setup, use the app to mainly track and monitor, all right? Track and monitor. It's an easy way for us to replace our old-fashioned, yellow pad that we used to have when we would write everything down that we spent. That's a little old-fashioned. But you also want to use the app as kind of a mirror because you're spending what you're spending. I'm not going to make a critical judgment on that. But it is a reflection of you. And you need to decide, does that mean something? Is it something I need to change? But an app can help you track that. And the app can be used as a measurement tool, keeping track of our savings goals. But don't expect different apps and artificial intelligence to walk the path with you. You need to use your values and your goals to guide your spending decisions. I recommend work with a trusted advisor. Hey, I'd love to do that for you to ensure you're on the right path. Now, apps are great for helping you stay organized. Advisors can help you stay aligned with your values and what you care about the most. Your faith, your generosity, your desire to serve others, an app can't do that. That's where working with like-minded advisors matters. Your budget, your spending that you do every month should reflect your beliefs, and a good advisor can help you live that out. So, as we wrap up, let's just talk a minute about something that's deeper behind all these tools, these budgeting apps, artificial intelligence. It's the temptation for a quick fix. We see all the time people wanting to make a quick buck. And we see that not as investing, we see that as speculating. But we live in a time where the message is you don't need help, you just need the right app, the right technology, or the right artificial intelligence prompt, and just set it on autopilot. It sounds empowering on the surface, but underneath, it is about giving up control and a desire to be fully self-sufficient, to not have to rely on others or even God. So something to think about is, are we chasing self-sufficiency or are we trusting God as our provider? There's nothing wrong with using apps and different artificial intelligence, but make sure we are consulting our maker. Make sure that we are consulting a knowledgeable professional that can help us evaluate the progress that we're making. And so it's okay to want to do things well. Using an app can help you with that ability. But financial peace doesn't come from perfect spreadsheets. It comes from surrender, stewardship, and seeking guidance from people and principles that align with our values. We're not meant to walk alone, right? And we're not meant to trust in algorithms. We're called to trust God, seek wisdom, and surround ourselves with wise counsels. So ask yourself, am I using these apps wisely? Am I trusting in the world or trusting in God? This week's scripture or call to action here is Proverbs 3:5-6, which we've used before. I encourage you to read it, which says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. So I challenge you this week, if you have a budgeting app but haven't used it in a while, pick it up. Pick it up. Get back to mastering that. If you've never used one, why don't you try one this week? Use your app, track your budget, but ask God to show you any area where you're clinging on to control. And I think that would be very enlightening to you. Talk to someone. Talk to a financial advisor, a spouse, a friend, someone that can have a real conversation with you about, do my actions, do my spending reflect my values? If the answer is no, or if you want help, let's talk. You can always reach us through email at info@clearvistafinancial.com. or you can visit our website at clearvestafinancial.com or text us. We respond to those pretty quickly. 254-282-0495. And folks, thank you for joining me this week on the Spend Life Well Show. Until next time, have a blessed week.
Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a broker-dealer, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Cambridge and Clear Vista Financial are not affiliated. Discussions in the show should not be construed as recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions.